We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around him. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen. It will never happen. We cannot have a meltdown.
Well, good morning, live from New York City. I'm standing on the corner of 48th and Avenues of America, which is 6th Avenue. So they got to fucking hijack everything in front of Fox News. I've been hammering away. You know, CNN has moved their headquarters to Columbus Circle. Why wouldn't they? Let's have a holiday for the mass murderer of all time. Well, second now, we have a lot of sad breaking news yesterday afternoon as Connie Concepcion, the great, incredible activist. You want to talk Groundhog Day? People give me that I'm, repetitive, that I'm like a broken record on Balco. Let's see, she's been sitting there since the early 80s in front of the White House. She passed away yesterday. I knew her very, very well. And she was much more than some little old lady sitting in front of the White House and her anti-nuclearism, using rights. She got a lot of my language. She wasn't just all anti-nuclear bombs, like, and I'll get into the walls in England. This is a big, big deal, and I'm going to get into this a lot. But, she called him homeless. I know her very well. She got it. She educated millions. She tried to educate billions. And the house, Thomas's house, which is the occupied D.C. house, which is not far from the Dorothy Day house, which is not far from the Ralph Nader house, are fucking frauds, by the way. I mean, Dorothy Day would be rolling over in her grave. Well, I shouldn't say that about her. I mean, Greg and Michael came out of that house, and they're the real deal. So, the Tennessee Three, the Oak Ridge Tennessee Three, Greg, Michael, and Megan, and that'll lead me into the whole lunacy of certain anti-nuclear groups that are, we're anti-nuclear bombs, but we're all nuclear energy. Boy, I put it, the woman who runs the whole Megan Rice show told me, right, boy, you put a freaking dagger into that whole gig, didn't you, Kevin? Oh, yeah, I know what I'm up to. I said, how can you sit and say that? Madeline didn't say that, Rice. You're Megan's dad. How can you go there? She says, well, I guess it was divine intervention, whatever. So, she passed away yesterday. Now, this is only a year or two ago. I introduced her to John Anthony Fairhurst and Steve Grant, as they showed up to the first inauguration Million Mast March, and they've done great work with her. In fact, some people tore down her structure, and it was our group that went and tracked those punks down and helped the Little Pack, John Anthony, Steve Grant, and our group, the Million Mass March. Remember, I woke a sleeping giant with Anonymous. Oh, did I, I was standing right here when Aaron Swartz died. I woke a sleeping giant when I gave that first inaugural speech, and I led that march. John Anthony asked me to. I had my mask on the back of my head, but Aaron Swartz already knew. But I woke the Million Mass March group to the environmental movement in a big, big way. And how are they? They hacked into the airport in Japan and shut the whole thing down for hours because of their incarceration of an environmentalist trying to protect the dolphins. Just the other day, it's amazing what gets reported and what doesn't get reported. She called him Thomas. He's been there since. Thomas set up shop there in August of 1981. He passed away January 23rd of 2009. I knew him too. He was amazing. But their homes and their houses, I stayed at the Nader house, and I'm a big fan of Nader. Nader's an amazing, brilliant dude. I was pissed off when he ran for president. I'm like, that's where they go wrong. The arrogance gets a hold of them. But that's where they go wrong. So security's all over me. And I'll get into that, what I've been up against already. Wow. I've never seen militarized police force in this city like it is right now. It's incredible. But she called him Thomas, and her name was Concepcion. She was from Spain. She was a Spanish consulate here in New York City, and then ended up there. She got it. She really got it. What an activist. Here's the difference in the United States and per se Austria and European activists. Here's the difference. Now, as you know, in Spain, our great anti-nuclear activist was put in prison here last year. He's given 7 months. I think he's out. But here's the difference. Freedom Eisenbauer passed away December 22nd. That incredible anti-nuclear, that incredible, brilliant genius. At her funeral, the president of the country spoke. The ex-president of the country spoke. Everybody's angry. Here she is right across from Obama in the White House and been there for how many presidents? They're still living? Both the Bushes, the Clinton and the Obama, will go over there and piss on her grave. That's what they'll do. That's the fucking rat fucking queen captured fucking floated up the Potomac, burned the White House. No, they didn't have to float up the Potomac and burn down by puts on the fucking burning down the White House this time. I'll tell you why they didn't have to do it. Because they just said, fuck, you can't fucking fight them. Don't burn down the White House. Become the White House. The military-industrialized complex and the police force answer to the Buckingham. They don't not answer to the American sheep, the contemporized fucking fainting goats that this fucking Orwellian fucking sheepville is called. And I'm hoping somebody in New York City is listening to this. Show your ass up. I'm on the corner of 48th and 6th Avenue, 48th West Street, 6th Avenue. Take the train to, I came from Brooklyn, so I was on the Cube. But you're right there on the corner. Fuck, you know where I'm at. I need somebody to hold the fucking camera, at least. Fuck. I'll juggle. Wow. So, she's there. Thomas's idea, her idea. Did it work out? Not the way they thought. I mean, we had a lot of momentum in the 80s. They got us. Does it all end now in front of the White House? Oh, fuck no, they got me. Their house, she told me, the last conversation I had with Concepcion, she told me, she says, Kevin, when Thomas died, I've tried to keep this going, but it died. He was, and by the way, he was incredible, really incredible. She said, they've taken over his house, Occupy Washington. She says they're not activists. They claim to be activists, so they get a free house. Just like the dirty hippies that have set up shop. And you have to be an activist to get in the Nader house. You get money. You get a stipend. But none of them are activists. I was there. I was there with them. They're not activists. The only person in the house that's got to have a clue, there's this, Banksy, which I think might be Banksy, So that leads me into the wells. I've been accused of that already by our group of writing Fukushima on the well, and You know, I talked to different people that have called me, authorities have called me, different people, and I told them, Banksy did it. You know, you sensationalize him as long as he's off, or her. It's a girl, by the way, I think. You know, you sensationalize Banksy, puts like there's he's all fucking cliche. Fucking pathetic. Pathetic, you're pretty fucking painters, and I mean, these painting painters in fucking New York City. You're not a fucking artist. You know, I talk to so many young people, oh yeah, I'm here. What, and I'm a human rights. I said, really? You're a human rights? So what do you do? I says, you work for NPO, right? Yeah, how'd you know? Who do you work for that? NFL? You know, fucking what? Well, tell me how you fucking, you know, what do you fucking do? Do you know anything about Fukushima? What? Yeah, Dad. It's a fucking cliche. It's a fucking cartoon character. Red state, blue state, you're all fucking wrapped up, and you create the image, and you go on with the fucking image. Feel good when you're going to die of fucking cancer. So the activists, 5 sperm whales, wash up in the UK on the beach. Unheard of? Beyond unheard of. Oh, they're just young, fucking lost, disoriented, fucking out of a pod. Yeah, they're just lost. Did Sonar get them? Maybe. My guess, same thing as all the other dead dying out. They're starving to death. The Pacific genocide is gone global. Fukushima's gone global. So activists go down there onto the wells in the middle of the night and write on the wells. Now the BBC rewrites it as graffiti. Now get this, here's the BBC. At least they watch the main Fukushima. You know, you can't miss it. They wrote Fukushima right on the side of a sperm well. Sperm wells are they're so fucking grand. So, they write on the side of it. Then on the tough end, they write, man did this. Then they spray paint a logo, Coalition for Nuclear Disarmament. Well, if it is Coalition for Nuclear Disarmament, that piece of it, I know that. They finally woke the fuck up. They're not ICANN. I'm so proud of them because they finally understood that Fukushima and nuclear weapons and nuclear energy are the same fucking thing. ICANN won't come out of that shell. I was in Vienna. I've been battling with ICANN for years. Right here in New York City with Helen Caldicott's symposium. ICANN won't fucking go there. ICANN's still telling you nuclear energy is good. And bombs are bad. But they went there. It's a big fucking step. And by the way, my guess is it wasn't. There was more than... I think they wrote that. Now, I don't think, I'm pretty positive that I know who put the Fukushima on the well. And it wasn't just one person. And the person that put the Fukushima on the well and the Coalition for Nuclear Disarmament are 2 different people. But I think they're merging their activism. There's some great activism in England, some really great activists, and I'll tell you why. They know what it's meant to be repressed by the Queen's fucking mouthpiece. So, BBC reports it, well, we think they wrote Fukushima, we're guessing on the nuclear catastrophe at, the nuclear meltdown at Fukushima, Japan. Then CNN. Now, here's CNN. CNN, well, I just left Columbus Circle. I just left CNN. I got into it with security over there. I think I'm kicked off the property there, but so they report it, and they say, yeah, there was graffiti sprayed on the wells, and all they report is Coalition for Nuclear Disarmament. That's all they report. They don't report that. So now, hear me out. This is going to be important. That where we go with this, well, you'll see in the video. But so it just shows you how glaring captured the media. Look, Al Jazeera, who's shutting down, who I helped them out do the piece on. By the way, I talked to Vice yesterday, and by the way, I got to tell you, Vice is pathetic. I mean, pathetic there on Williamsburg. You want to talk a club of fucking pathetic, young fucking idealistic, know-nothing motherfuckers. Oh, I got into it with fucking Vice. You know, they did that quirky, cliche little fucking gig on me when I led the Million Mass March right to here, the same place we went to. Oh, Kevin Blanch trying to MC pass around softball, and they started walking, just broke up. I'm like, hey, dumb fucker, we didn't break up. We took the fucking subway. That's a long fucking walk from 14th Street to fucking 48th. You know, a long fucking walk. We took the fucking subway, and boy, did we have a fucking amazing rally here. Ask the NYPD. NYPD, we went off on these fucking securities. They got into it. We got into it back to them because we stood on public ground. We, you know, and so NYPD was cool that day, but I think we had about 100 of us were there, and they had several hundred NYPD, but they were cool. And NYPD is always cool. They're great. It's not NYPD that's the problem. It's Homeland Security. So in New York City, what has the military industrialized police force called the Anti-Terrorism Task Force Homeland Security has completely taken over. NYPD, they're not going to come up and intimidate you. They're cool. You know, a lot of them are working class Irish guys. You know, one dude I was with yesterday, from the Bronx, they're great. But these guys aren't. None of them are from here. They walk around with, now get this, and I've been here my whole life, and I've never seen this. They walk around with fucking loaded AK-47s, assault rifles with laser scopes on them, in bulletproof vests and helmets by the hundreds, and they fucking stand there, and they fucking intimidate, and they're not nice. You know, because I'm talking to them, so get this. They won't let me even, get this one. You're going to love this one. They won't even let me carry around my megahorn anymore. I'm like, I don't even have batteries in it. It's a metaphor. We don't care. I'm like, that's not the law. That's not the law. And NYPD's like, that's right. That's not the law. Homeland Security. We don't care. I'm like, really? So you trump NYPD? And NYPD says, I don't think so. And I says, when they point that gun at me, I think so. And I told the one guy, I says, yeah, well, I'm going to have to do what you tell me because you shoot me with that's going to hurt. Oh, it'll do a lot more than hurt you. I says, oh, really? So you're trying to intimidate me some more? I says, you can't intimidate me. Fuck you. You know, I got an NYPD cop standing right with me. The NYPD was pissed. He says, I can't believe that guy just talked to you like that. I says, oh, no. What the fuck? He says, yeah. And so he says, they're fucking pricks. This is a New York City Police Department on duty. He says, yeah, they're fucking pricks. They're not us. And I says, I know that. I've known you guys my whole life. I mean, you know, I love to go drink beer with you guys and hang out with you guys. You guys are some of my favorite people in the world. You know, they're awesome. So get this. My elephant. You know, I have my elephant on my stick that Judy made that I got kicked out of the climate march on 59th and Columbus Circle. That's where I was. So NYPD, I'm asking, I'm okay with, because it's got a little teeny wood stick on it, not a very big wood stick. I'm okay with it? Yeah, you're okay. Fuck, don't worry about it, man. I said, well, there's a lot of controversy because all the goody two-shoes on the fucking subway, these goody two-shoe fucking, you know, pussy, conformist fucking Orwellian sheep. So, oh, you couldn't have that. They changed the fucking law to a stick. And I said, no. I read the law. The law says this specifically. It says if you're an organized fucking group protesting, and an organized group like the climate march, whatever, they don't want wood sticks. They want it to be cardboard, something you can't use. You know, it doesn't say individually. Individually, I can do it. And the cop's like, that's right. You're cool. Don't even worry about it, Kev. You know, you're fine with that thing. You know, so I'm in front of the NASIC. I'm there all day yesterday doing my thing. Oh, no, here comes Homeland Security. I already arrested one guy for this. You know, what is AK-47? I'm like, really? So, okay, what do you want me to do? Yeah, I'll dismantle it right here. I'll take it fucking apart right now. So they make me tear it apart. In the process, you know, it's been in Brooklyn for a while, and, you know, these Brooklyn girls, you don't want to mess with them. That one of these Brooklyn girls thought she could beat up a fucking elephant, which I think some of them probably can. You know, so his trunk got busted. He's got holes in him now, you know, and so I'm like, okay. Now, can I hold it? Can I hold up my little cardboard elephant that says Fukushima on it? Radiation equals cancer equals death. Can I hold that? Yeah. So, came off, dismantled him, fucked him up. He's got holes in him like he's been shot. He looks just like the front of his tusks has been tore off. So, I made me a well. I started working on my well last night. So, I'm almost positive who did the Fukushima on the side of the well. So, BBC, now get this. BBC tweets one of their reporters, and inside the Queen's bitch's palace, they're saying, oh, what a crime to put graffiti on one of these beautiful fucking creatures. But no crime to kill the beautiful fucking creature. The emperor has no fucking clothes. Isn't that what it is? Isn't it? Let's fucking send this. I got into a fucking kid here who says that New York City should succeed from the union because the bakers control it. But what they say, and I says, that's what the red states say, you arrogant fucks. Well, I said, what about the fucking debt? Oh, that debt ain't no big. Look at the interest payment. I says, yeah, that's because I keep the interest rate so fucking low. And that's causing a fucking depleting fucking middle class. Of course, I mean, they don't get it. It's a fucking cliche club. The activists here, I mean, there's some strong ones. There's some of them that are so horrible. I'm right here at the Time Life building, which there's, and I want to tell something to the ignorant fucking sheep-herded goats here at Radio City Music Hall. There's several debt clocks in this town that you think are debt clocks. The debt clock that's at 14th and Union Square is not a debt clock. That's a pagan clock. That's a second clock. That's a time clock. People post it all over YouTube. People saying, oh, look at the debt clock. That's not the debt clock. No, the debt clock, they got hidden away. They moved it over into the corner on 44th. You know, I've done videos there. NBC Studios. I'm right here. Those fucking rats. Time Life. These fucking rats. Yell with my sign. Holding up my sign. CBS. Fucking all of them right here. Like I said, Times Square's downright fucking dangerous. I never seen such fucking... I mean, they have vehicles circled. Homeland's carried by the dozens of them circled all over in there. They're standing there, I mean, in their riot gear, and people come up, oh, we love America, we love America, can we have a picture with you? What? Fuck, Mussolini would be proud. Oh, I wouldn't believe it. 2 plus 2 is what? It's 3 or 4 or 5 or all of the above, right, Winston? Fuck, I mean, they already got to torture these fucking goats. Fascism America is on. I mean, it is fucking on. So now it's coming out, fucking housing fucking numbers are way up. Housing bubble 2.0, get ready. The fucking disposable income, the fucking House of Rothschilds, the fucking Pope, the trilogy. Now get this one. Don't you love this one? This is, I mean, wow. The Pope makes a statement about gay marriage. Said it's not Jesus' plan or the Bible's plan. Okay? Here's Tim Cook, one of the greatest slave owners in human history, who's from the South, whose family were antebellum slave owners. Look it up. He comes from fucking plantation owners. For real. So, he's gay. So, his slave camps, the new plantations, Foxconn, in Indonesia, in all over, they're worse than any slave camp ever dreamed of being a slave camp. Much worse than any slave camp ever worked be. They meet together. Well, in China, and it's a fact, it's unarguable, that you get executed for being openly homosexual. They will kill you. So, I'm in Times Square yesterday, you know, all day, doing my thing. Most people are cool, but these guys are so intimidating. They're set up right at the bleachers, right where you could do your best activism. You can see why the best activism are out of there. It's very fucking intense. It's scary. You know, oh yeah, you could think when you got a fucking laser on your fucking head, you know, and you're like, it's all intimidation. So, you know, I protest at NASDAQ market site there because they go on live set. Well, I got a call because somebody's seen some of my old finance videos, blah, 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 5 years ago, before I got leukemia. And they want to, you know, they're activists. Well, they're not activists. They're going against the activists, but they're trying to spew and make us look stupid. Okay? Well, that's what they do. You know, the CNN go to the dumbest place, dumbest person in Occupy when they're doing their pretty hand signals. Yeah. Fuck. You know, but they're not about to fucking interview one of the strong fucking leaders and one of the strong, fuck no. They find the dumbest fucking sheep in the fucking herd and fucking spinning. That's why I tell the media to go fuck themselves fucking. I mean, I want to see the fucking clip before you run the fucking clip. They think you're going to play I Got You With Me. They don't fucking got a clue. So first question, you know, they're already on it. What's NASDAQ stand for? I says, I bet you could ask 10,000 people and they wouldn't know. Yeah, I know what it stands for. National Over-the-Counter fucking quote ass fucking, it's a desk system started in 1983. Oh, you know what a sell bot is? Of course I know what a sell fucking bot is. It's fucking robots and fucking hedge funds are taking over a computer. It's a computer that trades all these stocks 98 fucking %. Then they just kept going. Then I started going back at them. I ate their lunch. They're like, oh my God, you know, and he even said, whoa, you know more about this than us. That's not saying much, I told him. So then I just break into it with gun security again. They just break into it. Fuck. They just break in. They let me. I just go into my Fukushima. Do you even know about Fukushima? They let me go. He was all ears, and I'll tell you how. He was a young, good-looking African-American man, and I'm like, let me tell you something. Before I go on this run at Fukushima, let me tell you something. You come from antebellum slave South roots? I bet you do. Oh, yeah. Did your grandmother ever talk about it? Oh, yeah. And I says, do you understand the dynamic of the NFL? Do you know anything about Lucas Oil Stadium? Look at this Fox News little fucking rat. So, do you know anything about the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon? So, do you know anything about Lucas Oil Stadium? Now, I want you to think about this. And he says, no. I want you to go look up Lucas Oil. I want you to look up who the dude is. You know, his kid now, but the old man, the Swiss, who looted, you know, that's why, you know, David Dunford's done great work on this guy as far as the repository underneath the Great Lakes. That's who owns it, because he's bought up all the uranium mines. But he's been labeled as the greatest African child killer in human history. Now think about that. Carl Rhodes on Satellite here by the Diamonds, Carl Rhodesia on Balco. Now think about that. That's saying a lot. That's who the stadium's named after, Lucas Oil Stadium. What's 90% of the NFL is African-American antebellum slaves, great-great-grandchildren. They're running down the field with hair extensions from executed Chinese prisoners. I said, do you not even put that together? He says, you know, I didn't know. And so I had his ear, and he listened to me. And he told me thank you after, you know, one freaking little pebble in the fucking water that can make a difference. And he says, I got to tell you, all the interviews we've done, whatever, he says, you're the strongest one we've ever had. And I says, yeah, that's why they won't interview me. That's Vice. What? I've learned my lesson about Vice. Vice is a bunch of pussy, panty painter. Oh, they're fucking dumber than dirt. I mean, all these guys, you know, I've been talking, they're in Williamsburg. It's a cliche. You remember what Williamsburg used to be. Fuck, it's a fucking, you know, like I said, it's a fucking cartoon. And so, they're a fucking joke. They are really a joke. Alternative media, I gave up on them. Alternative media is worse than mainstream media, much worse, because they fell for the same advertising dynamic as these guys did. They bout advertise. Fuck, how many interviews have I done with RT? You know, they'll use me at the Million Mass March. They'll use my voice. They'll use my face. They'll use all my fucking energy. They'll use everything I got. And, you know, they'll do short crop interviews with me, but as soon as I go to Fukushima, nope, they crop it and they cut it. You know, fuck them. I have plenty of witnesses at Columbus Square, at Columbus Circle, on Climate March Day. We stood right up there. You know, I kissed Amy right in the mouth. I mean, so many of these different things. I did 16 interviews, 16, including with Columbia Review, including with fucking, I mean, all kinds, including with the young kids. The best interview I did was with a bunch of 12-year kids for the Child's Network. You know, and I know how to give interviews to kids. I know how to do everything. You know, I raised children. You know, I was a teacher for a long time. How come they never show up? The truth's too fucking hot to handle. So so this is important, really important, and I'm going to dive into this as, you know, I hammer away at these fuckers on my own. You know, I understand that people can't hang. I understand, oh, it's such a long time. You've been fucking battling about this 5 years. Yeah, a long time. Tell that to fucking Concepcion. Tell that to Thomas. Out there every fucking day since 1981. Yeah, long fucking time. Oh, and trust me, I've been out much longer than that. You know, YouTube does no justice for my activism. But holding a camera up by yourself, trying to find a place to fucking upload, trying to type with your fucking thumbs, fucking, wow. You know, what a fucking amazing fucking 9 million sheep in this city. Well, there's more than that, 25 million. 9 million live here. There's 25 million here a day. So, it's incredible to me how the sheep herders have worked. But, so, they've heard of these fuckers. CNN comes right out. I was years exposed to that. CNN comes out and admits that we're getting out of the news business. They said that 2 years ago. They come out and admit, yes, what we're going to do, we're going to be nothing but paid propagandists for corporations. Admit it. Admit it. They admit it to you. But that's cool with you. So, you know, we do Fox News as that. And by the way, I probably got more of a fucking chance right here getting someone from Fox News to actually interview me and talk to me than I ever would at CNN. Who would ever believe that? at CBS, at ABC, NBC, because at least they'll try to throw you on there, try to fucking play I got you with you. You know, they'll put Ann Calder, that dude, on there and say radiation's good for you. You know, so, I mean, at least they'll throw some fucking buddy up there and just try to abuse them, you know, because they're dogma. They know that their dogma audience, and at some point, they are going to wake the fuck up, and they are going to wake up and say, what the fuck? We just killed ourselves. Bang, bang, bing, bing, fuck, I'm dead. They need to pull their heads out of their fucking asses. They fucking, I don't care how much fucking media you got. So, our money, it's fucking outrageous. So, I'm here, you know, in the middle of the heart of the fucking beast, you know, going at it, doing what I do, very legally. So, I can't even fucking, I mean, they won't even let me carry around my fucking megahorn now. I'm like, look, there's no batteries in it. How do we know that? How do we know there's none in the bag? I just look at my bag. Search me. Go ahead, fucking search me. Well, okay. Fuck. That's fucking real fascism. You know, the boogeyman going to get you. Fucking feed the dragon slayer. You know, that's my line, too. Some of these lines that I've been coming up with, ain't pay the dragon slayer. That's what it is. Look, in the medieval times, neo-fascism, that's all this is. Neo-fascism on nuclear, on Balco. It's pretty warm here today, by the way. The snow's melting fast. I think it's 42 right now. So, what they would do to herd the sheep, they'd come into town, every little village, every little town across fucking their fucking kingdom, and they would find one fucking false equivalency shill rat, the original shill rats. He's kind of a, you know, the activist of the community, but he's kind of not, you know, and they know he's this fucking guy that could be bought like a dirty cop, like a bad fucking, you know, they could sniff him out. They go to him. Here's what you do. We'll pay you a little bit of money. And they think they're going to get on the winning team. Well, they never get on the winning team. They just fuck them, again, in the end, William Wallace. And they say, you go into the fucking woods, you know, scrape yourself up, dirt yourself up, cut up yourself, and come back and tell this fucking tale about this dragon. And he breathed fire at you. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill the fucking whole village. We got to kill that fucker. So they tell the tale. A few days later, the fucking Queen's debt collector fucking rides into town and says, hey, there's a fucking dragon. Yeah, we heard. You know, and a lot of people inside are saying, I'm right in front of the MoMA right now. I'll be doing some work there, too, again. So, in fact, I think I'll start my whole gig right there. I'll walk from there, do a video walking from the MoMA to Foxconn News. And the only reason I have to look for a Starbucks, of all things, good Lord, not the fucking coffee. It's the only place I can get any fucking Wi-Fi. So, they write in, and they'll say, oh, and people are saying, they're fucking lying, they're fine lying, but they're not any match for the masses and the sheep. And they're like, oh, no. So the mass and the sheep say, pony up. Go to every house, every village. What do you got? Give us your goats. Give us your fucking cattle. Give us anything of any value. Give us your 15-year-old fucking daughter. She'll be the next Cinderella. You know? Whatever. That's what they did, man. That's what they do now. They prey on fear, fake fear. You got to create the dragon. Dragon doesn't exist. You don't think they created those terrorism on 9/11? Oh, they created them. You know, I can get into this. I'll write books about it. I was teaching at Weber State University. I'd been on Wall Street. I'd just come home. We had students in the towers. That's where all Wall Street was, in the towers. Look, when they tried to blow it in 94, they have a contingency plan inside there. They don't listen to the fucking city, whatever. They have no, anything happens, you get the fuck out and you get away. Why did they tell them to get blocks away? Which they did, because they knew that New York City has it wired. New York City has all these buildings wired. I guarantee you they're all wired. Chicago Fire, oh yeah, they're all wired. They're all wired. Because, look, these big tall skyscrapers start to go down, and you don't think they know this dynamic? Look it up, 1969, 1970. 39, I think, fucking 38 fucking hijacks, respectively. That year, all radical Muslim terrorists. All of them. Hijacked planes in the United States, threatened to fly them where? In nuclear reactors. So, and buildings. You know, this whole thing of flying them in their towers was nothing new. I mean, people have been talking about that since they built the towers. Nothing. It wasn't even creative. It wasn't dynamic, because they're not creative and dynamic. Tom Clancy wrote a fucking book about it, and all he did is regurgitate the fucking obvious. So, they have the fucking... They're all wired. They're all wired. Chicago Fire. I mean, once these things start collapsing and going, you can get into a fucking chain reaction. They know that. I mean, you know, one big building, fucking burning tower inferno, fucking could turn into fucking, 40 buildings really quick. But here's the evil thing, and so, look, in 94, those guys were tried right in Lower Manhattan. The courtroom's right there. They're sitting in prison cells right now, but now we've got to put them in Gitmo, blah, blah, blah. Anna and his clan, the University of Hamburg, putting their baby together, kind of like Castro at fucking NYU when he put that baby together. But did they know they were coming? I can prove it that I played blackjack with them. I can prove it now. I tell people this is you're fucking nuts. No. It went over where I live, on the Utah-Nevada border, where the Enola Gay Hangar is. It's a casino town. You're never going to see no freaking Arabs in that place, ever. I mean, this is Utah. There's no Arab descent people in Utah. You might get a couple at the universities working there. You're the royal elite's children. So, there's a whole group of them. These are big, strong, dynamic Arabs. I mean, they'll start a hole through you. I mean, these ain't, some little guy from Bangladesh. No, these are from Saudi. These are freaking strong freaking Arabs, like Otto was. Physically, mentally, fucking, they'll burn a hole right through you. I mean, these people are intense, strong, intelligent, dynamic people. And they'll tell you that. And so I'm like, well, what are you guys doing out here? You stick out like a sore thumb. And it's a big group of them. None of your fucking business, they tell me. Oh, yeah? You're going to talk to me like that? Fuck you. And one of them gets somebody, so right, and at the casino. I'm like, come on, motherfucker. So I told them, two of them get right there, I'll knock the fuck out of both of you fuckers right now. Everybody knows me out there. Fuck you, punk. Security says, well, Kev, just leave these fuckers alone. We're watching them. Okay. I go up there about a week later, maybe even 2 weeks, they're still there. Still gambling like a motherfucker. I mean, they're firing. I'm like, oh, you fucking rats are still here, I tell them. Just like, what the fuck are you up to? And they're glaring at me, and I'm like, fuck you. You know me. Nobody intimidates me. The only way they're going to stomp me out, they're going to have to put one of those fucking through my head, and why would they? The last thing you want to do is martyr me. And so, I tell people this story that after it happened, now, I'm here in New York, we have a group of students in the towers. I'm home. In my big house before, that's a long, another complicated story. Before my whole fucking life collapsed, all the death, and I said, fuck it, threw my hands at it, and I'm going in all in. I went all in activism in 1999. I'd had it. So, with Wall Street, with finance, I'd had it with all these lying corrupt rats because of everybody around me dropping dead of leukemia. I was heartbroken. I had it with all the money. I had it with, I'd had it with my fucking ex-wife. We were married then. I'd had it with the females. I'd had it with the fucking friends. I'd had it with all of it. I'm like, fuck you. I'm going back to my native roots. I never should fucking left. And I was even, I still wouldn't buy anything new in those days. So we had a kid named Brady Howell that was actually in my class. He was at the Pentagon. Don't you think he's in danger? So I fly up to the university. We got 70 kids working in all the labs. I'm there within an hour, the first plane going in. I'm like, oh, no. Because I knew them. Students of ours were in the towers, with some friends of the grad. We had the number one finance school in the United States. We had people all over Wall Street, and we had sponsors. I knew they were with him. Baxter, I knew they were with him. I'm like, oh, no. But I knew that they had a contingency plan, not only to get them out, to get them away from the building. I'm like, they'll be okay, because it'll come over the intercoms, because that's what they do inside. There's a Marriott Hotel in there. That's where Wall Street is. The fucking Hamilton's grave, you could throw a rock to it. Trinity Church is right there. Fucking Battery Park, throw a rock to it. Wall Street, the fucking floor, which is nothing but a museum right now, you can fucking, you can literally throw a rock to it. So, get up there. FBI's already in there. All the labs at the university. And I heard the same thing at the University of Utah. They're sealed off. So I talked to Sandy. I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, they're fucking detaining fucking Saudi students. They're grabbing hard drives. Well, you got to remember the Olympics were coming up. Now Snowden's, confirmed that piece of shit, Rocky Anderson. By the way, Rocky Anderson is a fucking mega douchebag. Everybody thinks he's all great. Neoliberalism, fucking Utah. He's a neo-fucking douchebag. Piece of shit. I mean, run for president. Like anybody knows you. He was at the Snowden event. He hates me. Because he knows I'm onto that fucking ugly, fucking bug-eyed fucking rat. And so, I'm like, oh no. So, KSL, the Mormon mouthpiece, before it went all in NSA, which they're all in NSA now, just like CNN, just like Fox. They're completely controlled, not my words. Edward Snowden, tomato, nuclear snooze. So, oh fuck, here comes more security. So, I gotta keep moving. So, I'll move up this fucking way. So, they interviewed the head of the Saudi contingency. The Saudi, the kingdom, the Bechtel, fucking sinkhole fucking oil kingdom, the Saudi royal family took it over the most repressed place on earth, second only to the United States. The fucking oil complex, built it up. The Saudi family with bin Laden's fucking dad's fucking help, fucking took over the whole country and repressed all the fucking people of the country. They declared it their kingdom. Pay the Dragon Slayer. Put a big military base by Sinclair Oil, which is now British Petroleum Oil, which Shell Oil, British Petroleum, fucking all merged. Fucking mission accomplished. Fucking so. I'm like, oh, fuck. He comes on KSL and says it. He says it. We're all leaving the country. I'm like, how are you fucking leaving the country? The airports are sealed off. Fuck, no, ain't nobody fucking leaving. Oh, yeah, we're all getting out. Well, there was 5 detained at our university and 2 at the U. 7 total in Utah. That's the word. Now, I know it's true. Whatever happened to them, how will we know? So the Saudis disappeared off the university for well over 10 years. They're back now. Just barely came back a couple years ago. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, we get word. They're safe. They got away from the building. So when the buildings were blown, Giuliani fucking blew them, by the way. Well, the whole the shadow government that runs the country, which, Homeland Security is the Queen in the House of Windsor. That's who makes the orders here. They blow them. They blow them all. They blow Building 7. They blow fucking the towers. But here's the fucking diabolical evil. So you guys all on the ground, oh, we love New York City firemen. We love firemen. They're heroes. Talk to a New York City fireman here because a lot of them are killed, and I have friends that are a lot of them. They're Irish kids. They're great. They don't work. They make just fucking money. People bow to them. They're like, they get sick of it, by the way. They get all the money. They don't do anything because there's no fires anymore. So they'll tell you there was a big contract dispute going between Giuliani, the city, and the firemen's local, the firemen's union, on their fucking Motorola radios. They knew they didn't work. They were fighting with Giuliani. Giuliani had got a kickback from Motorola. He had got one, and they knew it. It was big controversy in this city up to then. Their radios weren't working. No telling dispatchers are screaming at them, get the fuck out, to all. They didn't hear them. Giuliani blew it anyway. Now think of it, they blew it anyway. They blew those fucking towers, and everybody knows they blew them. Planes went in, obviously. These guys said, oh, it's an avatar. They know nothing about this city. No, they went in. Now, did Bush and Brother Bantar know that all of those guys were what they were up to? Most likely. I mean, Brother Bandar was in on it. They bought puts on the airline stocks, remember? I was a derivative arbitrage guy. I'm like, they got him. It's T+1. It's a fucking paper trade. It's a computerized trade. They got him. Where's Jason Money? He got W. Bush. They're like, shut the fuck up, dumb fucker. Don't you know the money goes to us, Bushes? So, 10 years later, the Young Turks, which they're pathetic, they're pushing snow off the USS Reagan to shoot themselves. Like, you dumb fucker, that's fucking decontamination foam. When I was in the harbor in San Diego, which I was there, they had it tinted off, and they scrubbed it for fucking days. For days. And I know why it was sent in. It wasn't sent on no rescue mission. They were sent in with the other ships to entomb Fukushima, Japan. Obama and John Holdren, Obama's owners, and he's not black. There's nothing black about him. you know, a white boy from Kansas. His owners, he's a puppet on a string. His owners, John Holdren, Cal Berkeley, and Urk Cartel, told him to. Get him out. So they blew him. Well, they bought puts on the airline stocks. I think they got him. You know, close to the money, way out of the money. They made fuck. For every $100 you spent, turned into fucking $30,000. They got him. I'm like, they got him. You know, so they knew immediately. It's an easy computerized trade. Well, I'm like, 10 years later, Young Turk reports too big to jail. 10 years later, they wait 10 years after they boil the frogs nicely, just like Fukushima. 10 years. The money traced right to the House of Windsor, right to London, HSBC, and the Bank of London. Too big to jail. I mean, fuck, right? And so, even when it's reported, because the sheep are fucking gone. The fainting goats, the sheep. I'm here in front of the MoMA now with my elephant. Let's see what those fuckers have to say. You know, neo-Dadaism. You know, maybe I'll make a video here. You know, that video you look at protesting at the MoMA, that's, you know, you'll see, that's Eric Oppenheim with me. That's Dennis Oppenheim's son. Yeah, the great Dennis Oppenheimer, the best conceptual artist maybe in history. That guy. That's what's so important about those videos, you know, we do in front of there. And then, of course, Ackerman and the Baby Wolf and Patrick McCormick, who were, you know, the Baby Wolf had a few too many cocktails. I think they all did. I mean, so, but it's a great video and it's great activism. You know, it's all about Yoko now here. That's it. The MoMA is owned by Yoko Ono. I mean, the Modern Art Museum, that's supposed to be modern at the time, is putting up, I mean, our whole gig is Yoko Ono squealing from the 70s, you know, up into 1980, the most hated person on the face of the earth, the Japanese oligarch banker's daughter. So, most hated person, if that's art, I'm a fucking astronaut. So, that's we go from Marcel Duchamp to Andy Warhol's, his bastard son, to Yoko Ono. That's it? That's all you got? Because it's a club. Not my words, the fucking art critics' words. So here I am. I got to see what they got advertised here. So, anyway, I got to keep moving. Fuck Homeland Security, but so my can't hold up my sign. I'll hold it up with my hands. You know, I can't even get somebody to hold my fucking camera. You're afraid to fucking, I mean, I don't know, I'll find somebody. Yesterday I got somebody to hold the camera when I took some photos, and it was a kid from Budapest, of all people. He was great, you know, so keep moving. You know, protesting, got my sign, got my elephant, you know, the dead whales. But, so, you tell these stories, and you go on and on and on about them in the reality, and everybody twists, and then they rely on the psychos to go complete down psych. It's like we were talking about you know, Russian woodpecker. You know, that guy in that documentary, he's all over it. You know, they're putting the freaking frequency, the low horizon frequency, you know, roadside picnic, that kid, you know, he's great. I know him in Austria, and a lot of these great underground activists. But here's the problem. So many, you know, Monet, she's great, she's awesome, she's brilliant, she's genius. But here's where they cross. I don't know how this happened in the mindset. But then they go down the rabbit hole to Alienville. That's what they do to us. They fucking, as soon as you start talking about aliens and fucking all this shit, you lose any credibility because there's no proof of aliens. Well, there's no proof of Fukushima. What? This is how fucking they've made us, like the peace movement. The peace movement was contemporary America Vespucci's, United States citizens. Well, and by the way, I am not a legal citizen. I am not. I'm a native. So the natives, which were millions and millions and millions and millions of them in the United States, the peace movement, they were outraged. They knew it was the fucking corporation fucking lying war drafting your fucking people, killing your people like they did my dad in the Nevada test site. Everybody knew that. So what did they do? The Canyon? The CIA fucking infiltrated and turned it into, they're a bunch of drug addicts, got people whacked, you know, fucking spun it to Mansonville, the Beachville, you know, and so over, hasta la vista. So the peace movement's done. That's what they did to the anti-nuclear movement. The anti-nuclear, they infiltrated it with the lunatics, aliens, science fiction, Godzilla. They did it through movies. Look at the fucking Godzilla movie. Yucca Mountain fucking all over in it. You know, turn it into science fiction. It's not real. I'm in front of the White House giving my speech, and they're like, you're going to talk about aliens? That's because that's how ignorant the American populace is. They somehow think nuclear reactors. Yeah. So, there's the guy, postman, that comes up. He knows what Fukushima is. Yeah, I get a few. But working class, they've been aware. So, I go crazy because I've been an anti-nuclear movement my whole life because I know it's the biggest, ultimate violation to human rights, the ecology, the biology, the sociology, the philosophy, with no apology. I know that. So I'm like, oh my God, this is it. It's a 9-point fucking tsunami. As soon as I heard the 9 quote, because I know they're Mach 1s. I know what they are. I've fucking been protesting Fukushima. I've done hundreds of lectures saying it's going to happen in Fukushima, Japan, fucking Diablo Canyon, San Rafael. I've been banning free my entire fucking life. I know the fucking dynamic. I'm like, no, it's no fucking, you ain't got to worry about no tsunami. The fucking core's cracked. When the core's cracked, it's over. It's done. Containment vessels never work. They crack. It's on. It's on. And it'll be a chain reaction. Arnie Gunderson's fucking in my sight every day telling me, no, Kevin, it's hydrogen. I know it's not, Arnie. Yeah, there's hydrogen blasts that are involved, but those aren't hydrogen blasts. How can you call that a hydrogen blast? Hydrogen's water. That's a fucking nuclear meltdown blast. That's a nuclear bomb. They cracked and they're full of nuclear waste. That's not hydrogen. There's no hydrogen in it, which is water. No, this is a fucking nuclear catastrophe from hell. The wind's blowing out. So I tell people all the time, oh, the poor people in Japan. What? Yeah. Well, they can't wrap it around their head that the wind was blowing out. Sanjay Gupta and Anderson, CIA, Cooper, are fucking green as grass, number and dirt, just placed propagandists. They play on the ignorant. They play on the rich. They play on the fucking their children that are dumber than dirt. Born with a silver. So he's not very smart, by the way. Gupta and Patterson neurosurgeon. I come from a family of neurosurgeons. Look it up. That's the dumbest neurosurgeon. Oh, that's literally the dumbest neurosurgeon. His Sanjay Gupta. I don't think he's a fucking CIA rat. So they're over there and they're green as grass. They're naive. They get this false fucking guy named fucking Walsh on from MIT. You know, and he plays his panty painter fucking game. I'm just going to get the fuck out, get the fuck out. The wind's blowing out for 6 days. It's continually just blowing up and fucking exploding all of it. It's just fucking going nuts. Boom, 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 boom. You know, but the wind's blowing out. You know, I reported that within fucking 24 hours they were already picking up the contamination, and which I've widely reported. I have the fucking links, and I put it up. You know, you can Google my video from 3/15/2011 when I'm standing by the pond. Look at the links inside there. Reported. We're picking up contamination from nuclear fallout contamination in Sacramento within 24 hours of Fukushima blowing up, which, by the way, was the 10th here. So I'm like, no, this on. It's fucking on. Then they made the decision to dump water and push the energy into the ocean. They never copped any of it. I mean, yeah, they got a few barrels of dog and pony show, their ice wall. We're going to save the world fucking for this, that, fucking. It's been one propaganda. You got to realize these are major propaganda machines that have all the money. They've infiltrated all the universities. And, oh, well, you know, everybody, you know, my whole family, well, we have marine biologists. You know, they love the ocean. They want it. And I said, no, they used to. The old ones do, but not these ones. Academia has been tapped here. And people, you know, the Santa Cruz, I'm walking around with my Santa Cruz bag. The Santa Cruz Monterey. Inside there, they were waiting for me when I got there. Old, tired people that were marine biologists because they loved it. She tells me, Kevin, you know, that's the only way the world knows that the Greys were giving birth at Monterey. The only way they know. Noah didn't tell us. Berkeley didn't tell. None of them, because they don't study the ocean. They don't even know how. You go to San Diego State University's website and look at the marine biologist on this boat with his rising hair. Hey, look at me. I'm a young California hippie. He's fucking as a fucking moron douchebag. They don't know how to study the ocean. They were handed PhDs through peer review, just walked up the whole freaking path. And, you know, what a PhD has to do 3 years of field study. That was always the rules. That's what a PhD is, Troy. Look it up. It's Latin. And so, no, none of them did. They captured it all. So I'm like, none of them know how. So she says, the old marine biologist at the Monterey Aquarium and her husband, retired. We love the ocean. We went for the love. She says, My son and daughter are both marine biologists at major universities in California. Kevin, they don't care. I says, yeah, they're in the front. This is their own children. They don't care. I says, yeah, they just travel around to symposiums and freaking hobnob with each other. They don't even know how to stay there. You got it. So there's a symposium that was this week, I believe, in Seattle, on the starfish dying after they've been dead for 4 or 5 years. Oh, we're closing in on the day. I reported in 2012. I'm going through the bone marrow transplant, getting stuff leaked to me from San Onofre, trying to battle that. I'm battling Blue Castle. Look at Blue Castle. That's a nuclear generator they're trying to put in. It's me. I'm my own battling that fucker. One reporter from the Tribune, they've got 2 now. I'm dying. I'm dying. Too fast. Everybody thinks I'm shriveling away. I'm in so much pain. I'm fucked up. I went from 170, 130. I'm dying. I got ML de novo leukemia that attacked me like a wolf. And still trying to fight these fights. Trying to battle San Onofre, all the whistleblowers are coming to me. I had the field. I've had the field for a long time. They know that. Anybody knows I'm the guy with the platform, and I'll get their information out. Media's not going to do it. There's no media. The fake activists aren't going to do it. They're going to fucking say, oh, I'm fucking Helen Cathcart. Don't say the F word, and I'm anti. No, you're not. You're pro Helen Cathcart. I'm Busby at Duluth. The Queen's bitch. I'm all of them. Arnie Gundershield. Give me another consulting contract on Blue Castle. Let's play on blow the dude. Give me fucking $12,000. Fuck. And by the way, oh God, I can get into all these guys. And then these scientists that come out, at least Buesler puts his name out. At least Buesler, will admit who he works for and admit who's funding him and admit that the nuclear industry fund, but at least he goes out and he does some sampling. At least he'll tell you, and he says it correctly. There is nobody studying the ocean. There's no NOAA. There's no federal government agency. The only thing he's wrong about that I disagree is there is one that is studying, and I know for a fact, and I can prove it. The United States Navy and the Marine Corps, because I have liaisons in there. Look, I've been tied to San Onofre and Pendleton literally in my bone marrow since birth. My father was San Onofre Marine. Marching in the desert, nukes, my place, San Diego. San Onofre and Camp Pendleton are on the same piece of ground. It's the poster child for everything wrong with the nuclear industry. I know that. So, these fuckers have the data, and I've been told to my face in private conversations with intel inside the Marines and Navy, which they could never go public, and they'll deny it if I ever say it, and I understand that. They can't. There's a protocol. They'll fucking put in Leavenworth. You can't break ranks. You can't. That's the rules. They know that. Do you have the data? Yeah. Stationed out at Okinawa. They sent me there after for just this reason. You have the data outside the Pacific Ocean. Oh, yeah. How bad is it? Oh, it's bad. So is it true that you're not reporting it because the White House, the commander-in-chief, who is really the commander-in-chief of the United States military, is the nuclear cartel, the nuclear crime syndicate, the nuclear crime family that's run out of the fucking Buckingham Palace? Uranium mines, House of Windsor, fucking the British invasion, CNN, CBS, ABC, Fox News, Reuters. Look it up. Look at the board of directors. They're all Brits. They're all British. It's the British invasion. I don't mean the fucking Beatles. I don't mean them float. They didn't have to float Potomac and fucking burn down the fucking White House this time. They didn't have to fucking go battle at Valley Forge. They didn't have to fucking battle Hamilton at Fort Greene and fucking Brooklyn. No, they own the White House. They were told to stand down by John Holdren and the eugenicists fucking group from Cal Berkeley. Now look it up. John Holdren's head of the 32 Science and Technology team, who's named head of the Science Technology team, and Fox News and lunatic Glenn Beck, of all people, who's completely insane, a heroin drug addict like Bush. Gosh, I was all fucked up on the fucking booze and the dope, and then I got all fucked up on the Lord, which typical Mormon, translates. So look it up. So I'll battle on this. This is a tough gig, what I'm up against. It's hard to get videos up.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. 2 days